Yeah, thank you, Chuck. Yeah, obviously a week to regroup. It's been a tough couple of weeks for us here, but a chance for us to kind of get better at all the little things that have brought us down. We got to get a lot better at our fundamentals. Got to do a lot better at our schemes, our calls, our communication, things that are important to winning. And I think our kids have started off the week good. We'll see where we can get today and tomorrow, and then look at give them a little bit of time to get their legs back under them. Going into our Auburn week next week, we'll get a little jump on them this week as well. So a big week in our program, an opportunity with 4 games left to do some things this season that can put us in a positive direction, and excited for us to work.
Coach, your first question to come from Tom Murphy of the Arkansas Democrat-Gazette.
Hey, morning, Bret. This might
Tom.
fold into what you were just saying, but specifically on offense, what do you see as ways that you guys can get better, more productive in the open?
Well, I think we've been able to run the football. Obviously, every game we've been able to do some things. We've got to hang on to it better. We've got to be more efficient for all 4 quarters. But the area that could really help us out is if we can throw the ball effectively on first, second, and third down. I think everybody jumps to, stats and where the quarterback's delivery is and, whether or not we're catching the ball, which are important factors. But every element of our passing game needs to improve, from the call itself to the protection to the execution to the delivery of the throw and the catch of the throw, the ball security after the throw. Those things all need to get better, and they need to get better in a short amount of time.
I know you guys had talked about in camp that Brandon Allen's legs could be something, maybe get a couple of first downs per game. I wonder if during the stretch when he first got back from the shoulder, did you guys inhibit him from running maybe a little bit? And I know he got a first down last week, but is that something that could add another element to your offense?
Without a doubt. I think anytime you got a quarterback that can give you the element to gain a first down through his legs is a big deal. I think when he first got back into it, there was obviously reservations, probably not from us as coaches, but from him as a player. I mean, he just got back several weeks ahead of schedule, and I know he was really sore and wasn't quite maybe 100%, but was in a position where the doctors felt good and let him go, and he felt good. But I think any player naturally is going to be a little bit hesitant when you come back.
Thank you.
Next is Nate Allen Sports.
Right, just how has Travis Swanson responded just with the physically and mentally to kind of the ordeal the team has gone through and the expectations that he had for this year?
Nate, I think Travis is a tremendous competitor. He's a guy that is the same guy every day. He's been one of our best leaders since we came here to where we stand today. Even like yesterday at the end of practice, we let our seniors kind of run the last 2 periods, let them call plays offensively for the young kids, and defensively let them call defenses. It was kind of a time to let your hair down, have a little bit of fun, just try to enjoy the moment. And he was one of the leaders in that category as well, too. So I just think he's got a tremendous upside. I think his best football is in front of him. I know his pre-draft grade came back last year at the end of the season as a 6th or 7th rounder or a possible free agent. And I saw an article last week that had him rated as the #1 center in this year's draft. So he's obviously made a huge stride. I think it's a great indication of what we can do with offensive linemen while we're here. I know Travis has really improved his game in so many ways, but like you said, I mean, his mental approach, his demeanor, his character, his attitude, those are some of his strongest standpoints.
Next is Mark Weiser of the Athens Banner Herald.
Hi, Bret. I'm curious about your philosophy with your coaching staff with special teams. How do those responsibilities work now with your staff? And when you were at Wisconsin, you had a special teams coordinator for 1 season. Why did you go in a different direction? Well,
it's kind of you play to the strengths of your staff. There are certain guys that have a background in special teams. Some do not. Some have leadership abilities. What I've always enjoyed is when you've been able to have a guy run a unit for you and you can see the ability that he has to be a coordinator. One of the things that I loved at Wisconsin, we had a lot of transition, but with that I was able to hire within, I believe, 3 times from assistant coaches to coordinators. And Chris Ash is my defense coordinator here. His first role of coordinating was as our punt return coordinator. So I got a chance to see him, which gave me the insight to know that he could be a good coordinator and bring it along that way. So I think that's a way to do it. But also as a coach, you always are trying to build on the strengths of your staff. And for me this year, we had a number of coaches that had coordinator experience that also have been special teams coordinators. So Joel Thomas runs our kickoff return. Taylor Johnson runs our punt return. Coach Shannon runs our kickoff coverage, and Coach Partridge runs our punt unit. As a head coach, I coach on every one of those units, so I'm involved in the day-to-day game plan as well as execution and teaching a group on what their coaching techniques are. So it's a fun way to stay involved.
Thanks.
Yep.
Next is Bob Hope, the Arkansas Democrat Gazette.
Hey, Brad, how you doing?
Good, Bob.
Hey, I had a Travis question, too. I mean, you guys obviously hyped him up pretty good before the season. Has he played up to expectations even with the team's struggles?
Yeah, he's been one of the shining stars throughout. He did get dinged in that one game, and they were worried about him and his ability to return, but came back in the same week, which again showed his resilience and his toughness. I think once you get past the college level and go to the NFL, one of the things that they're very intrigued with are guys that stay healthy, guys that maybe have the ability to play through some pain. I know it's been an issue in the past where guys that maybe have had a long history of injury or sitting out or missing time that knocks them down in their draft status. So I think Travis's resiliency has been proven and tested once again. And then, as far as what he's done from game one to where he is today, there's no doubt. Probably even his last game even better than before when things are going so bad from an offense standpoint. He was a guy that was still putting people on their back. It's been great for us to have two true freshmen right next to him to let them learn Travis and Denver, for them to see what it takes to compete at this level. The way Travis is has been a true blessing.
He started 40-something straight games since he was a redshirt freshman. How impressive is that streak given, where he plays?
Well, and that's the whole deal. To play in the middle of the offensive line, to be the center, the guy that's calling all the shots, to have that type of streak speaks volumes to his consistent approach, the way that he handles the game plan, but also his toughness overall. And then I think he was one of the truly biggest changes in his body dynamics. I mean, he's obviously a big kid, but the way he's physically changed his body really put him in a position this year to play through some difficult situations and play with a lot more base. He's so good at his pulls, his gap schemes where he can get out in space and stay high on some people as well as go low has been nothing but a blessing for him.
Next we have Robbie Newswanger, the Arkansas News.
Morning, Brett.
Morning, Rob.
Noticed that Byron was wearing Robert's jersey the other night, and just was curious whose idea that was. Is that something that he wants to do the rest of the season?
Yeah, I actually on that Saturday night when Robert was hurt, I was sitting on my couch watching the world of college football, and just obviously very upset because not only is Robert a great player, but he's a great person. He's a team captain and very, very well liked. A guy that was very well thought of in the locker room, offense, defense, special teams, as well as the coaching staff, and kind of popped in my mind that he's got a 98, which is a eligible jersey number, which means that anybody that handles a football could wear his jersey, even though he played defensive line. So I kind of came up with the idea. The thought to honor him would be a way to let him have some say, and then as his coaches pick a guy every week. So one of the first things I did when I sat down with Robert on Tuesday after a surgery, I said, "Hey, I got this idea. What do you think?" And he became very emotional, as well as I did, and loved the idea. Wanted to have the first one to go to Byron, who's one of his best friends, obviously plays the same position, a guy that he loves to death, and we'll rotate that through for the rest of the season and hopefully give someone a little bit more incentive that week to play in his honor, knowing that he'll never get to play for the Razorbacks.
And also, you hinted at possibly some personnel changes after Saturday's game. Is there anybody or any players that you think we maybe haven't seen much that you think need to get more opportunities on the field?
Yeah, you know what? I specifically asked my coaches during the bye week here. We're getting a lot of reps with our 2s and 3s, guys that haven't played. I want to know, especially if you got a junior or senior. A senior maybe that, his clock's winding down. He's only got a certain number of games left. He's got one game left here at Razorback Stadium, and how we handle those 4th games, it depends if we get a 5th game or not. So I think just sometimes people's attitude change or their ability to learn. They become a little bit faster. They become a little bit more physical when they know that clock's winding down. So I asked everybody within their position group to see if there's someone that hasn't bought into the to the level that you'd want. Maybe they need to learn it a little better. Maybe they need to bend a little better. Maybe they need to be stronger, and revisit to make sure that they haven't done that. And if so, let's get them involved. I don't care if it's as simple as putting them on PAT field goal protection. I don't care if it's as simple as KOR backside guard. I don't care if it's your starting gunner or your left end on punt team. Do something to get their mind engaged, and obviously sometimes that leads to some pretty special things.
Thank you.
Next is Dwayne Rankin, the Montgomery Advertiser.
Yes, Coach. You mentioned before about obviously the bye week and going to spend a little time preparing for Auburn. Coaches approach it differently when you have the bye into the next opponent. How much time will you spend on Auburn? A couple days, 1 day? How much time will you spend on Auburn this week?
Well, it's kind of a little bit give and take. I think bye week a lot is about getting yourself right. We came off 5 straight weeks of losses, so it's important for us to get ourselves right first. So that's priority number one, and any time that we can steal, we want to go some good on good. We want to do preparation work, but I think anybody in the world of college football that doesn't jump on their opponent that's on their schedule next, it allows the kids to focus in on them, gives them a little bit more preparation time, not just obviously this week, but next week we won't have to have the same time demand. So we'll hit on them a little bit every day, but we've hit on them in the past, going back to last spring and in fall camp. This is a very, very critical game for us, one that's important, as they all are, but obviously this one holds a special tone.